Good evening, boys and girls. Are you ready for bed? Are you ready for another bedtime story? Well, thank you for subscribing to Spotify, to Apple, YouTube, Facebook, Stitcher, anywhere you find me. I've got lots of stories, and if you're in lockdown, this might be a good time to listen to a story. And if you've got any friends that don't have anybody to tell them stories, well, send them my way, because there's lots more where this came from. And this came to me just today. Tonight's story is called The Daddy Who Didn't Read the Book But Told the Stories. And it's kind of a true story. Once upon a time, there was a daddy, and he had a little girl. And the girl loved to listen to Daddy's stories, and she loved books. And when she was a baby, the Daddy read her at least 5 books every single night. When she was old enough to carry the books, she would pick them up, as many as she could carry, and take them through to the bedroom, pile after pile, put them on the bed and point, and Daddy knew exactly what to do. But after a while, Daddy kept reading the same books, the same words, and after a while, they started to lose their interest. The words in the books just seemed so boring, and they'd been told so many times before. The girl knew what was going to happen next, and she knew the words off by heart. And then one day, when the girl could speak, she said, "Daddy, don't read the book. Tell me a story." And so this is a story about 3 stories that Daddy didn't read. This is about 3 stories that Daddy told. And I'm going to tell it to you now, and you've got to guess which books they are. Are you ready? So, Daddy picked up one book, and he opened it, and he started to tell the story. He didn't read the words, and the story went like this. Once upon a time, there was a girl who fell off the swing, and she hurt her knee, and it was bleeding. She rubbed it better, but it kept bleeding, and so she made her way home. She lived quite far away, and as she was walking down the street, she met lots of monsters and animals that were trying to take her away. First, she met a wolf, and the wolf tried to eat her. But then her daddy, with a big axe, came and chased the wolf away. "Thank you, Daddy," said the wolf. Said the wolf? "Thank you, Daddy," said the girl. And so Daddy went, "Oh, it's okay, I've got to go back to work now." And the girl started to walk home, and she met a friend, and she told a friend about this real wolf who'd tried to eat her, and it was a real wolf. And the friend was like, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." "Just be careful about the wolf," said the girl, as they parted. And as she walked down the street again, on the way home, there was a witch, and the witch swooped down and put her in a little plastic bag, but she was so strong that she could kick the witch's bomb while kicking the bag, and she broke it, and she fell down onto the street. She looked at her knee, but it was still bleeding, and then she got up and started running home, and she met a friend, and she said, "Look out for that witch over there." And the boy looked up, and there was a witch, and they started running back home together. The boy went back that way to his house, and the girl kept running to her house. And as she was running, a snake grabbed her and started to squeeze her and squeeze her. And the boy shouted, "Just tickle it." And so she tickled the snake, and it dropped her. And she checked her knee, and it was still bleeding. "Oh my gosh," she said. And she kept running down the street. And she kept running, and there was a ghost that started to chase her right past the church. She fell over, and she almost made her other knee bleed. And so she got up, and as she was getting home, she met her other friend. "There's a snake and a witch and a ghost and a wolf on that way. Don't go there. Gotta go this way. And so they made their way home. And the girl, finally, after meeting a giant and a UFO, would you believe, went home to tell her mum all about it. And she did. She said, "Mum, I was on my swing and I fell off." And then she started to cry as she told the mum about all these monsters and witches and ghosts. And her mum said, "Well, I've got a plaster for your knee." And she put a plaster on her knee. And after that, the girl and the mum went back outside and had a fight with all these monsters. And they all ran away because they were scared of the mum. And that's the end of that story. The girl was just about to sleep, but Daddy picked up another book and he read it. He didn't read the book, he told the story. And it was a story about a little mouse who was walking through the forest, and he met snakes and an owl, and they all wanted to have dinner with the mouse, but really they wanted to eat it. But the mouse was telling them all about this monster that was in the forest, who had like purple spikes on his back and a black nose with poison on it. The mouse was quite clever. And all the animals, the fox included, all ran away because they were scared of this monster with purple spikes. And as the mouse was sitting down, the monster actually came. And he's like, "Hey up, monster." "Hello, mouse. What you been doing? You been talking about me?" "Yeah." Well, actually, the mouse and the monster were good friends. He's like, "Come on, let's walk back down to my house." And as they were walking, they met the animals one by one, and they all looked at the big monster with brown fur, green eyes, maybe purple eyes, and they all ran away. The big monster's like, "Hey, are they scared of you or scared of me?" "I don't know. Come on, let's have some tea." And they all went away. But then the big monster realized what time it was. He goes, "I've got to get back home. My little boy is going to be wanting his breakfast." And he ran back home, and he left the mouse to eat a little walnut. The girl had one eye closed, and Daddy knew that she wanted a third book to really put her to sleep. And so he picked up the last book, and it was one of his favourite books and the girl's favourite books, and it was about a family of bears, and they were tired, and so they all went to bed. But when Mummy Bear was sleeping, it was so noisy, so Daddy had to get up, and no matter where he went, it was so noisy. Cuckoo clock in the living room, the kitchen tap in the kitchen, sink tap in the kitchen. The baby boy was still playing with the airplane, so Daddy had to shout at him, say, "Get to bed quickly." Outside, it was so noisy with the hedgehogs and the birds, and so he had to go and sleep in the car. Just as he was about to get to sleep, the sun rose up and the birds started tweeting. And so he marched back into the house and got back into bed, and just as he was about to go to sleep, his alarm went off for work, and the baby bear came and jumped on Daddy's belly, and Mommy made him a cup of tea. And he had to go to work, so that was the end of that story. And as Daddy had finished the 3 books, he looked over, and his little girl was fast asleep. And he knew that she was in dreamland, but he didn't know, was she dreaming about the Gruffalo? Or was she dreaming about Claire on the way home? Or she would dream about the bears in whatever next? Did you guess the books? Or are you asleep now? Anyway, that's the end. Good night.